Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on our Pro Tools Basics series, and today we are going to look into how to create a new track. Now first let me show you the old-fashioned way to do it is go up to track and click on new. That will bring up the new track window where we have a few different options there, but before we get into that, let me tell you about the shortcut. This is one of the hotkeys you really want to know because you're going to be using it an awful lot of times now. I'm a PC user, so for me that'll be Shift Control N. However, if you are on Mac, it'll be Apple Shift N. Now that the window's up, the first option we have is how many tracks do we want to create. We can hold down Shift and use our up and down arrows to select how many tracks we want, or we can just type in the amount of tracks we are after. The second option is whether we want our tracks to be mono or stereo. For that, we can hold down Control and use our left and right arrows to select mono or stereo. Next, we choose what type of track we want to create. There are a few different options as well, and each track has its different uses. The first one is audio tracks. These are the most basic type of tracks in Pro Tools. These are the ones that we are going to be using the most because we record in audio tracks, and always when we import audio from outside, it will be located into an audio track. Next, we have auxiliary tracks. These are used to receive audio from other Pro Tools tracks or inputs. They are usually used for internal buzzing or as an effect sense. Say for example, I got my backing vocals and I want to put a reverb on them. What I'll do is I'll grab all those backing vocal tracks and send them into an auxiliary track, and then I will put my reverb onto the auxiliary track so I can control the reverb from there. Next, we have the master fader. The master fader track will control the overall volume of your session, and all tracks will be linked and be enslaved to it. Other thing to keep in mind about the master fader is that all the inserts you put on it will be post fade. So this is where you put your brick wall limiters, or if you are going to do some dithering for bouncing, this is the place you go to put them in. Then we have MIDI and instrument tracks. MIDI tracks can be used to send MIDI data to external hardware, however they do not carry audio. On the other hand, instrument tracks are used to contain and control virtual instruments. They output their audio on the same way as an audio track do, so basically instrument tracks render MIDI tracks obsolete, and to be honest, I cannot think of any scenario where you would rather use a MIDI track over an instrument one. The last option we have here is if we want our track to be in samples or ticks. The difference between both is that with samples, our tracks will be measured in time, so that's minutes and seconds. With ticks, our tracks will be measured in bars and beats, so choose depending on what you're doing. So if, for example, you are recording music, you might want your tracks to be measured in ticks so you then can relate to what the musicians are doing in the studio. On the other hand, if for example you are doing the post on film, you might want your tracks to be measured in samples, so then you can time sync your audio and your film. Now let me talk about this little plus thingy here. What it does if you click on it is that it will add a whole new row of tracks, so you can do different types of tracks at the same time and set up your entire session in one go. Say for example, I'm going to record my drums and I've got my drum kit mic'd up with 8 different mics. So I'm gonna need 8 mono audio tracks. I'm also gonna create 2 aux tracks for my effects because I'm gonna use a reverb and I'm gonna use a delay on my drums. Now the last thing I will add is the master fader because I know I'm gonna use it sooner or later. And with that I can set up my whole session in just one go. Okay guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching and see you next time.